One of the comments that one of the agents made to me just the other day, like she took, another 4% listing, one call close. I'm like calling to congratulate her. It was like her third one in like the last week or so. And she was like, Abel, I'm like so glad that you like forced me to go on my own appointments. In my head, I thought maybe I would like fail because you were on all my appointments before, and that's kind of why I thought we were successful. But now I have so much more confidence and belief in myself. So like, thank you.
That's a leadership thing. Most leaders, they're like top of the hill leaders, which is like, this is my hill. And the moment you start to climb up it, I'm gonna knock you down. He's actually equipping them. So now he has other leaders.
So like if we wanted to find like salespeople, where do we start?
So these were organic. They were both servers at restaurants.
Really?
Yeah. They're like in their early 20s, servers at restaurants. One of them, I found her on Indeed, and she wanted to be like a real estate assistant, like eventually be an agent. And then the other one, I like actually was at a restaurant. She was my server. And then again, assistant. And they were very clear with me from the beginning, like, hey, I want to get my real estate license. I want to get into sales. I was like, great, well, you're going to do this. And like, if you're excellent at it, then we'll give you an opportunity. So then they like killed it as assistants, like went the extra mile, learned the whole back end. So now when they got into the sales process, I did go on appointments with them, which was like time. But I didn't have to help them with paperwork or client management or this or that. They were off to the races as far as contract, right? The only thing I had to do with them at that point was appointments.
If you were to go back, would you like implement that same strategy as far as like going on appointments with them?
Yeah, because that's how they're gonna get their reps in. I would have maybe like implemented a little sooner because I think I was like a crutch for them too long. I thought because I was there, the close rate was higher. So when we would go on appointments, looking back, I also should have given them more opportunities to present with me sitting there, but I almost couldn't help myself be like, okay, so, right? So I could have like implemented having them present with me as a crutch if needed to save the day, but I didn't. I was like, boom, boom, boom. So they were just downloading the information. And then I could have done it sooner because now, like looking at the results, there was nothing about me being there that made anything special.
You're not that important.
What's your plan for the future? If one of those agents left or you're going to go with your team, how are you?
Like worst case scenario, hypothetically, if both agents left, I would turn off like all my marketing other than the TV commercial and just sit by the phone. I would just cut all my expenses and just like do referral real estate. Like I have a huge database, so I wouldn't need to spend any extra money. And then just like the TV commercial like pumps out enough leads at high rips that I could. And then I would like probably organically again, like not rush to like refill these positions. It does take a lot of time.
Are your girls a certain profile on predictive index?
I think I did disc with them in their DI. They're like high drive, really good people.
And you did hire one of the agents that you already taught, they can train them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what we started to talk about is this idea of potential.
Yeah.
Because like once they start to like be really capable and they lead, really strong leaders, if they don't like people that are capable and high performers, if they don't see a pathway for progression, then they lead.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, well, maybe we do like a profit share.
Yeah.
It's like once he nets a certain amount out of retail, then based on your volume, you get access, the profit, and then like that's what.
And those splits do seem pretty aggressive. Like there was definitely some grumbling about keeping 35%, when they're used to making 50 to 70. So what I didn't really get into this, is there are tiers. So after they bring in 100K to the company, then they get a 5% bonus. When they bring in 200K, they get a 10% bonus. Yeah, it's performance-based. And then when they take a 4% listing, it's 10% plus. So let's say they get to 200K like mid-year and they take a 4% listing, now they're keeping like 65%, right? But they've brought in so much money to the company at that point that it's like, okay.
You earn rev share from your agents as well?
So I think I'm the only person not at EXP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Get out of here.
Yeah, but I would encourage everybody to take 4% listings. Like these girls are like in their early 20s, like zero real estate experience prior to this. Like they've definitely practiced their presentation and they're getting it almost every time. So one thing that I didn't cover that Jose definitely like has dialed in is the additional services. So we pay for the seller's inspections up front every single time. So that's like $500 for a home inspection, $100 for the termite. And that's a huge thing that the sellers love because we talk about like how you're going to get screwed if you don't have your inspections done. It's like, dude, someone's going to ask for $50K just to ask for it because they're going to say they didn't know all these things. So when they like that clicks, they're like, oh, you guys do that. Like that's a huge trust, credibility, value right there. If we have to, like, we'll deep clean your house, we'll pressure wash your house, we'll get the carpets cleaned. Like we're like full service. So like they're already thinking about us like a concierge full service package.
Yeah, so it's not 4% for.
Yeah. There are additional things that we're doing and we don't always offer them. Like if it's like a tenant occupied home, like we're not going to deep clean it and like pressure wash it. Right. But we do offer like the full service for like our luxury stuff. So like we're getting 4% even like on stuff above $1 million because they're like, oh yeah, you guys are going to take care of us. Like no one else has said they're going to do all these things. The other like benefit here, guys, when you start doing wholesaling or cash offer business is you're either going to be like double lending a lot of this stuff off market or you're going to be assigning it to your cash buyer group is negotiating the list back. So if you have really good relationships with your main buyers, you're oftentimes going to be able to get a list back. We're typically keeping those at like 2.5%. So this year I've closed 6 list backs, 100K plus in income, 6 more by the end of the year, about 250 in extra income just by, in addition to the wholesale fees that have already made me a ton of money. Now when they come back on the market, we're getting a list back because we have a good relationship with the seller. Sometimes it's a deal killer with somebody like, oh, we have our own broker or I have a license. So it's like, if you're going to pay me the fee that I want on the wholesale, I'm not going to kick you to the curb, but still like, hey, I'm going to give you priority on the next one if you list it back with me. Relationships are key. Like these are going to be like your repeat buyers that know, like, and trust you. Maybe you want to make 50K on your wholesale fee, but it's like, you know what, man, like the numbers only work here and it's like a 40K fee. It's like, cool, man. Well, if you list it back with me, like no problem with that. Because then the list back's like 15, 20K. You're making it back and then you're getting buyers and other listings from your new listing. So it's, sometimes I'd rather make the extra money on the front end, but then sometimes it's like, okay, I'll trade it off to make a little bit more on the back because it's going to help our listing business and our credibility. And then, yeah, be upfront about your expectations. So like one of the first questions you can ask a potential end buyer when you're wholesaling, it's just like, hey, you know, typically we get a list back, right? Is that something you're open to if the numbers work for you? You know, the guys that I get my list backs from, we have such a good relationship. I don't. I think they made it like illegal to like have like a list back contract like in the future if they don't own it. So the way to do it, I think, is a consulting agreement where you like in your consulting agreement or a part of your assignment agreement, it says something along those lines. I haven't had to because again, the people I work with were just like friends at this point, but it's definitely a great SOP if you've never worked with this person. Right? Like just getting them to sign something makes it more real. Marketing, so from best, all of them are great, but as far as like volume and opportunity, TV's been the best for me. I started running that in 2022. I just watched a podcast with some guy that says like he specializes in helping investors like put out TV commercials, like media brokers, all that. Hopped on a call with him. I'm like, sure, let's do it. And that was probably the best decision I've ever made. That TV commercial has made me like well over 7 figures in income in multiple different ways. Every market's a little bit different. I'm in a very tertiary submarket with low population, so it doesn't cost me a fortune to run it. If you're in like LA, it's like 20, 30 grand a month, which is what we'll talk about the streaming as like a hack to still do it within a budget, even in a bigger market. SEO, this is something that everybody in this room can do and set up in a day. You can go to Carrot, look up Carrot Real Estate Investing. It's a built for you site. Like all the templates are done. You have to edit 0. You just name the name of your company, like Bob Buys Houses or, you know, Buy Seattle, whatever you want to name it. And then you'll get an SEO optimized site that is built for you. Over time, you'll start ranking on Google. If you're running this cash offer type advertisement with like PPL, right, or anything, one question you're going to get from potential sellers is like, oh, do you have a website? Now you have 2 options. You can send them a legit cash buyer website, which is going to help your credibility, Or you can be like, yeah, here's my real estate agent website. And they're like, wait, I thought I was talking to a cash buyer. So again, for $200 a month, at the very minimum, what it's going to do is create credibility. If you put a little bit of time and effort into it, over time, what it'll do is actually have you rank on Google. So when somebody looks up, sell my house cash, you scroll 3 or 4 down past the paid ads, you're going to be there. So we're getting a ton of just free leads at this point when somebody searches. So I know they haven't watched my TV commercial because they're in another state, right? And they just did a Google search. So I know that was just simply by me having a website. Pay per lead, I can give you guys a couple little hacks on that I've found. Text blasts and then cold callers. So when you guys think about marketing to a consumer, so you're a seller, right? Regardless of your situation, you have 2 different advertisements that you run across. Which one sounds more appealing? Look at me, I'm the best agent ever, work with me, right? Like billboards, whatever. There's a lot of that out there, just like ego marketing. Or, hey, I'll buy your house cash as is, no fees, no closing costs, close whenever you'd like, fair cash offer, any condition, mention pain points. Hey, and by the way, we buy nice houses too. So it takes all of the perceived pain out of selling a house into one ad. It's like, yeah, if you're in a situation, you're probably gonna call that number, click on that thing, versus the ego marketing, like, hey, I'm the best, look at me, right? That works, I would say, to an extent, or at least with like credibility and brand building over time, but you're not gonna get like calls. People aren't gonna call you because they saw your billboard, usually. TV, again, most profitable for wholesale and retail. We get a ton of listings from the TV commercial. So I have 2 different mediums. One is 10X TV, Tony Javier. You book a call with them. They'll go over all the numbers in your market, be like, hey, here's how much it's gonna cost to get you on TV. For me, it's $5,000 a month because I live in a small market. I could increase that if I wanted to, but I haven't changed it since 2022, it works. In a bigger market, again, I know people spending 10, 20, 30, right? For the same ad, same airtime. Jam Loop, I can put anybody in touch with a media broker that I use to get on all the streaming services. What's nice about Jam Loop is it's like a Facebook ad. You can take this huge million population market, segment it down into a couple 100,000, and now you're spending like $3,000 a month to be on TV. 50 plus, homeowners, income level, right? And then what does that do? Local celebrity and then massive authority. So if they see somebody running TV ads, especially older people that grew up in that demographic, it's like, oh, you're legit. Yeah, you have way less sales resistance. I think if we look at the numbers this year, it's like $700,000 in income off of 8 times 6, 50 grand. Yeah. So it's like a 12, 15x return. So like, if anything, I'm probably going to increase these budgets, like, and maybe cut something else out. The other thing too is the time. So I've been running this since 2022. If I had to go back and look at all my metrics, I think I did get a deal within my first 3 months of running it. It was like a $60K fee. It was great. So like, it gave me validation. But there have been months and months and months where it was like no deals, very few calls, right? I'm definitely seeing this huge uptick in like calls with motivated sellers. I think just there's a lot of people with equity and no cash. Like they're not even in foreclosure or whatever. They could own their house free and clear. They can't afford to live here anymore. So there's just, and also too, just the beating that same ad into somebody's head. Like people have probably seen this ad thousands of times at this point.
Are you in that?
Yeah, I'll show you guys.
Yeah.
And I filmed it in 2022, like haven't changed it, haven't done anything. So if anyone were to implement this strategy, I would say give it like 6+ months before you make a decision. Because there's been people that have tried to copy me in my market, and my dad will be like, hey, did you see this guy trying to run the same ad? I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like no more ad. Agents have tried to copy me too, right? But their ad, it's weird. So they'll be like, I'm the best real estate agent ever, kind of blah, blah, blah.
We'll buy your house for cash.
So it's like you're trying to give 2 different messages. So it's like, are you trying to list my house or buy my house? Lack of clarity. I like this one because it's straight to the point. I'm gonna get a call from a seller. If it's a listing, then great, but they're not calling me because they think I'm a great real estate agent. They're calling me because they're in a situation.
Hi, this is Abel with Slow Cash Buyer, and we buy houses. We're the call to make to sell your house as is for cash. We buy properties all over in any price range. Inherited, bad renter houses, foreclosures, apartment buildings, commercial properties, land, even nicer homes you just can't keep up with. Don't make any repairs or even clean up, and best of all, no closing costs. We're helping people all over California sell their house as is for a fair cash offer. Call 805-609-0000. That's 805-609-0000.
So 30 seconds, straight to the point. They're like, where do I know you from? Like, you're the guy. What was nice about this media broker is they came to a location, they put up a green screen. It took me like an hour, couple runs, and that was it. And then they put it all together for me, and now it's like, don't have to change it. And then the other thing it's helped me with, guys, is the listing business. So we do a lot of just prospecting in general with our cold calling and what have you. And then people are like, oh, you're the guy. Right, you're the guy on TV? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a separate business. Like, you'd never sell your house at a discount, but yeah, that's me, right? So it helps with, like, it's just all angles, yeah. With my streaming service broker, I gave them the same ad, and then they were like, hey, it would be cool if we put a QR code in here so that we can help you track it more. So the streaming service has the QR thing, but the cable is just the ad, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I got a lot of people that just go to the website too. So again, I can't always tell if they're just Google searching cash buyers or if they like saw the ad and then like, oh, let me look the guy up. So that's the only thing I can't really track perfectly. And then again, back to SEO, one thing that if you're not trying to spend $8,000 a month, you can spend $200 a month to get a legitimate professional website that you have your own cash buyer business. So I look up Sell My House San Luis Obispo, just Google search from here right now, right? I'm not even in San Luis Obispo for geolocation. You get a couple different ads, right, with real estate agents, another ad, and then I'm the first thing on Google, right? And that's just time, right? So since 2022, I've had the website up, so it has Google authority. And then you can also like make a Google My Business page, get some reviews, and now you're like probably going to be one of the only cash buyer websites in your area where you have 100 real estate agents with their Google My Business page, right? So it's just like easy, cost effective. So texting, you got to be careful with texting. I wouldn't recommend you do it yourself. If you have your own, if you're trying to do it all yourself, then you have to register with the TCPA or whatever federal agency. I use a third-party provider. So if they get in trouble, it doesn't affect me. If you read the text, hi, John, this is Kayla. I'm reaching out to see if you're open to getting an offer on our property. It doesn't say Able. It doesn't say Slow Cash Buyer. It doesn't say Invest Slow. So if this person gets pissed off, they try to report, it's like, okay, good luck finding out where that came from. So you do have to be careful with compliance if you're going to be mass texting. And I have a company I can refer you guys. It's $2,000 a month. They guarantee 50 leads. Comes out to $40 a lead. It works great for retail or wholesale. So here's an example, intro message. Yes, we might be interested. Great, referring to property address. Would you be open to selling this one? Yes, this one. Are you working with an agent? No. I just get a notification a little later that day. I call them. I don't even mention the text because it's spammy. So I just call them like a cold call, like, hey, John, let's call about your house in Coletta. Like, were you just,
Would you ever consider selling?
Yeah.
Did you text me?
No.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's called certified media. So you can mention the text. I've had success both ways. Like when I first started doing it, I'd be like, yeah, you know, you talked to my assistant, Kayla, you mentioned you're thinking about an offer on the house, and I'd take it from there. But sometimes I would notice like now just with how many texts people are getting, I think it hurts you more than helps you to mention it. So I just treat it like a regular call.
Okay, so let me ask, what are you calling? Because they said that they may be interested when you call, and I said, no, I'm not thinking about selling.
You know, the other thing that I do is I usually wait like a day or two. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So like you're not thinking about moving? Like, is this your forever home? Like you're going to be here like forever? Yeah. And then it's like, well, maybe at some point. And I was like, oh, where are you thinking about moving? And this is just like one example of many, right? So this is the lead. Here's the address. It was a very easy conversation with them on the phone. They're like, yeah, we are thinking about selling. They had a real reason. They're getting older. They needed to move. Sat down with them. 4% listing on $1.1 million, $43,000 commission. And then another thing we wanted to go over was disposition of the wholesale contracts that we pick up. So I know one thing, like the questions kept popping up was like, well, what do you do if you don't have buyers? Like you get a deal. Number one, like Jose said, don't worry about that. Focus on step one, like get the contract. If it's a deal, it will sell. My best dispo source is organic. So I have 1,800 people in my database tagged as investor. And that's just come from like time in the business of talking to people. Like my best buyer that I do like 20 deals a year with, get all the list backs. He was a FSBO. Called him, didn't even end up selling his FSBO house. He just told me like, yeah, I flip houses. And then like a year later, I called him with a deal, right? So it's just like always adding people to your database and just tagging them appropriately. You'd be surprised like the result of just that. So again, time, effort, over time, you're gonna end up with hundreds, if not thousands of people in your organic buyers list. I use MailChimp to blast deals to my organic buyers list. There's also a new texting feature within MailChimp, and you can text blast people. So does anyone here use PropStream? Yeah. Oh, you guys get it? Okay, so I think it's $100 a month.
It is.
When you go in there, there's a cash buyer flipper feature. So you just go in your county or whatever location, you click the cash buyer feature. You get all the records. I think there's like 300 in my county right now. You can download it, skip trace them, right? Get the phone numbers and email sometimes. And then, again, this involves more work because it's a cheaper solution. But if you have a deal and there's 50K on the line, I would imagine you guys would make some calls to figure it out. MLS, so this is free. Let's say you have a deal. You go in your MLS, you're like, okay, I need to find a buyer for this. You do your search. There's an additional field you can add for closed, buyer financing, cash, right? So now we're looking for cash buyers that have bought recently in the same neighborhood. We go to the tax information. Okay, Daniel Cooper just bought this 3 months ago. He paid cash. Again, you're gonna have to find out his phone number, but we all know how to do that. Give him a call. Hey, Daniel, I have a deal similar to what you just bought. Are you active, or was that just like a one-off deal that you happen to buy? No, we're still looking. Like, what do you got? Investor Lift. This is a $12,000 a year software. I think they might have lower packages. This makes sense as if you're moving like 3+ deals a month. So it's like a time saver. So my SOP is like reach out to my organic guys where I know they buy. They're gonna give me the list back. If they pass on it for whatever reason, they can't do another deal this month, or it doesn't make sense for them, then I'm gonna blast it out to my organic list, email, text. Get no bites, then I'm gonna put it on Investor Lift, which is like the off-market MLS. It makes it really, really easy. There's a lot of cool features. If you just watch like a YouTube video in 10 minutes, you'll figure out what they offer. But it can definitely save you a lot of time. I know a lot of people use it in like virtual wholesaling. So if they're like wholesaling in multiple markets, you can get a deal in one market, 0 people there, put it up, you'll get buyers. So that's what you're paying for, is the convenience and the tech. I try not to use Investor Lift if I don't have to, because there are some like scoundrels out there that'll try to like reach out to the seller directly and steal your deal. Yeah, it's not super common, but I've heard that happens to a lot of people. It happens more in like very competitive markets. The other thing, once you guys start getting more like contracts on the wholesale side, I, in 2024, was spending so much of my own time like personally doing this stuff. I have 1,800 people in my database, right? So if no one's responding to the email or I'm not getting the right responses, then I have to literally pick up the phone and call people. Be like, hey, did you see this? Like, this is a legitimate deal. So I would spend hours and hours trying to like move these deals successfully. It'd be like 40, 50K fees, so it was worth it. But I was also talking to Aaron about this. I'm like, hey, I'm probably spending too much time here. I should hire somebody to do this. So now I have a guy in Colombia. I pay him $8 an hour. Some of these deals are really easy to sell. It's a phone call with my best guy, it's done. Some of them are just like in the sticks, or there's a lot of work to do, or the numbers are tight, which makes it harder to sell. So my Colombian disposition agent, he'll call through this entire list of 1,800 people one at a time. Like he'll send the blasts out, right? But then he'll follow up. 2 of my like hardest deals to sell where everybody passed on them. One of them, he ended up securing a deal for 60K. And then another one for 45. What we've done is we have, in our database, we have like 2,000 agents too with their emails and everything. So like worst case scenario, you could even just blast it out to the agent, like the agent list in your MailChimp or your CRM. Be like, hey, I'm acting as a principal. This is an off-market deal. I'm willing to pay you X if you bring a buyer. It's not my favorite because agents don't know what wholesaling is, so you have to explain to them what's going on. So it's annoying, but we've gotten deals sold that way. But yeah, I mean the dispo, and then the other thing is like reaching out to people that have actually like done it. So if you're finding yourself like, it's been a week, I can't move this, I don't know what to do, you can always reach out to somebody, right? And then co-JV the dispo with them, which it sounds like you guys have those resources. Any questions?
Do you think that it would make sense if you're someone starting out and you understand the framework and you're willing to spend money and you start getting these leads and they're legit, to partner up with someone who has way more experience in this and like come up with some type of like fee split? It's like, hey, this is a 50K deal, let's split it. And
I would try it yourself first.
yeah,
Like get like a 30-day escrow, right, on your contract, and then give yourself like a week with your best shot to dispo it. And then if you can't, it's like, okay, reach out to somebody that has done this before and be like, hey, we're looking at like a 50K fee. If you can move it with me, I'm happy to give you X. I've found buyers in like 2 minutes on the MLS.
I use it as Western.
To dispo.
Dispo is like,
What do they charge you?
they usually make anywhere from 10 to 15.
Oh, so it's a flat fee.
I go to them, I'm like, hey, how much could you pay me on this deal?
Yeah.
But hey, what did you use for ARV? What
Yeah.
did you use for renovation budget? I try to bring up their price as much as I can to the point where I'm like, okay, they're gonna make some money.
Yeah.
That money that they're gonna make is very little. And the way I know like what they could sell it for, I'm like, okay, if we're using this ARV and we're using X for renovations, they're at 85%. I'm like, I don't think I could sell it for
Right.
85. So if I'm selling it at 83 cents,
Yeah.
I know that they're making 2% on that deal or
Yeah.
3%, 4%. So
It's all good.
it eliminates that entire side
Right.
for now. And I'm
Yeah.
okay with somebody making 10 to 15,000 on a deal just
To save you 5 hours.
to save 5 hours
Yeah.
time basically.
Yeah.
And they disposition.
Right.
Not only that, they've been able to dispose some deals that I was like, dude, I don't know how you sold this.
Yeah.
Because they have that buyer relationship.
There's like a tenant in there and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there were some deals where I was like, I didn't think that they could do it, and they did.
One thing that we've learned too is like you have like your top buyers. Like for example, like I'm really aggressive with what I buy because I have access to so many deals. But then like some of your best buyers a lot of times can be like your past clients that like are like a W-2 employee and they're okay with doing a fix and flip where they'll make 30K.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of like your investor buyers and then we have your like
Mom and pop.
2 property a year buyer. Or like your margins are like for me, a 30K deal isn't attractive, but for them, it's just an extra 30K.
The fix and flippers are gonna come in very aggressive, and your W-2 buyers are willing to pay more. So like your past clients, like if they have a home equity line of credit, like, you know, have you ever thought of doing a flip? Like, what are you doing with that? What if I could present you an opportunity? Like, that's just added value that you're bringing to them.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
let's go. It's done. Hey.
Thank you.
Those in this room that are producing like favorable outcomes in this space, it's not by accident. It's because of strategy. We took a really high level look at what's going on in the industry. Inventory's going up, right? Demand is softening, going down. We looked at that funnel, if you remember. We're dumping everything into a funnel and we're learning. Jose was kind enough to share with us his knowledge with regards to those exits and how I was actually on a hike this morning and me and Ruben were talking and I was telling him, look, there's only 4 ways to increase business. The first way to increase business is to increase leads. The second way is to increase conversion. The third way is ascension. You sell somebody something for $1,000 and then you ascend them into something for 10,000. The third way is retention. You keep them for longer.